Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Radio Entrepreneurs 2023. Who ever thought we'd get here? And it's going to be another roller coaster year. But with that roller coaster comes, we still have entrepreneurship. It's the basis of our economy, basis of job creation. And I'm really happy about our partnership with Valiant and the Completely Cannabis Show, because cannabis is going to become only bigger and better and more professionally run in 2023. And I want to welcome back my partner from cannabis. Welcome back.
Thank you very much. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you. And do you want to introduce our guest? I'll give you the benefit this time.
Absolutely. So today we have Ross Bradshaw with the New Dia Dispensary. So we've had the privilege of building out the New Dia Dispensary. It's right across the street from Fenway Park, basically in the basement of the Cask and Flagon. It's a flagship bar right in Fenway, right by Jersey Street and over Lansdowne Street. And Ross has kind of pioneered through the whole Boston city permitting and been able to somehow get his way into Boston and be able to get that specific location. So I want to introduce Ross and kind of hear your story.
Appreciate it, Chris.
And Ross, I've heard it's quite a story. So if you could give us a little bit of your background and how you evolved into this position, I think that'll be very interesting for our listeners as well.
Yeah, definitely. I got involved in cannabis about 8 years ago. So prior to cannabis, I was a CPA working actually in downtown Boston in the financial district. And at that point in time, medical marijuana was legalized here in Massachusetts, and had a lot of friends and folks that are interested in this industry, seeing how it evolved from California. And the big piece then and even still now is like, how do you get a license, right? It's the number one question that you always hear is like, how do you go about getting a license? And, that's kind of why I started a journey about 8 years ago of kind of learning about different municipalities and how to go about. At that point in time, I'm not sure if they weren't called host community agreements. They're referred to as something else. But I started to, study the law and how to go about getting licensed and getting authorized in cities and states, and then had the opportunity to kind of study companies in Colorado, and then wasn't until about 3 years after that I actually started. I created New Dia, and we went through the process in Worcester to get a license, and we were fortunate in getting approved for a host community agreement there, and then I had a buddy who actually. One night he was actually drinking at the Cask and Flagon and speaking with one of the bartenders. And the bartender mentioned him, hey, we have this location in the basement and people don't really know about it unless it used to actually be a former Gold's Gym. And he said, this would make an incredible dispensary. Do you know anyone who might be interested? And so he introduced me to the owners of the Cask and Flagon, and then from there we went through the process in Boston of getting a license, and that was about a 3-year process. But anyways, fast forward, I was able to connect with the folks at Valiant, and we're hoping to be open as soon as possible. But most likely, we're looking at March if we can go through the CCC process and overcome a couple hurdles here and there. But shooting for the beginning of the baseball season to have our doors open.
Yeah, plan is to hit opening day. That's the goal.
Well, that's great, and hopefully we'll have some good Red Sox players to sign before then. But I have to ask you about being an accountant. I mean, some people would think, wow, an accountant in the cannabis industry. Do you think it was a benefit for you?
Yeah, well, I think in any business it is, right? Not just the cannabis industry,
right.
It's more so any business. So it definitely provided a lot of fundamentals and kind of a sound platform, if you would. But as you know, the cannabis industry is so unpredictable. There's so many different, you can't go to traditional banking. There's so many different things that are, new, and you kind of have to just learn on the fly that it's a different kind of beast, if you would.
And you've also had some interesting other positions, and you've won some awards as well, correct?
Yeah. So also, one of the things I should have started. So I think what's unique about us in New Dia is that we really approach the cannabis industry grassroots, right? So the first dispensary that we opened up in Worcester was right around the block from where I grew up. We're one of the few economic empowerment applicants in the state. We're one of the few minority-owned businesses in the state in the cannabis industry. And then, from our standpoint, it's something that folks have recognized us as being able to, compete and actually go up against a lot of these large MSOs. MSOs, for folks that are familiar, are multi-state operators. We've had the opportunity in some cases to partner with them, but in a lot of cases be able to remain independent. So it's definitely unique in this space.
So can you tell us a little bit more about the process from your economic empowerment situation, a minority-owned business? With the majority of our clients, we have a huge respect for the community and trying to make sure that everybody is successful in this business. But they're as easy as they make it sound with the cannabis side of it, and then the regulations. From what we understand, there's a lot of challenges. Do you mind just kind of go through the challenges that you faced?
Yeah, definitely. So one of the best things the state did, and we're starting to see this happen in New Jersey, New York, just about any other state that comes on board, is they have specific programs that are tailored to helping folks that come from disadvantaged neighborhoods or minorities or women, people that traditionally, don't have access to a significant amount of capital or don't have access to, a lot of different of the business resources that other well-established companies or entities may have. They establish these programs to allow them to get an opportunity in this industry. And Massachusetts created the Economic Empowerment Program. This was in 2018. You were able to apply for this program where if you met certain criteria based on, your income, demographic of where you lived, and also what you intended to do when you were open in terms of the types of people you were looking to hire. In our particular case, we met those criteria, and this is back in 2018. We were certified as economic empowerment, and what it allows you to do is to go through the process with the CCC, the Cannabis Control Commission, in more of a streamlined fashion. I say streamlined because nothing really is streamlined, but it gives you priority, if you would. And so our particular case, it has been somewhat beneficial when we go through the CCC process, because it allows us to skip the line, if you would. And for us, it's really the core of what we do, because we look to hire and empower a lot of folks that traditionally, would be looked over in the industry. So we do hire folks that have marijuana related quarries. We hire folks that are, really embedded in the community, and we try to uplift people and really give them the tools and resources, not just to come in and get their foot in the door, but also promote them and put them in positions of supervisor and managers. It's what we've done here in Worcester and what we tend to do in Boston.
So Ross, I hate to put you on the spot, but it's that time of year. Let's pretend it's January 2024. The world has changed so much last year, the year before. What can people expect in the cannabis industry in the next year?
This next year, it's going to be hard. Well, one thing we do know is we're going to see other states come on board, right? So we're going to see a vastly larger industry in terms of states that have opened their doors. So New York just had the first recreational sale a few weeks ago, or maybe even last week. New Jersey is coming on strong. Connecticut, I believe they're opening their doors next week. And then we're going to see other states that continue to open up their doors. I know Florida is another big one that has, it might not be 2024, but there's going to be a huge campaign over the next year to get recreation on those regulations moved. Georgia. But I would say also what we're also going to see is we're going to see a lot of consolidation. We're starting to see, obviously, just given just the financial times of what we're seeing, a lot of folks are talking, it's a tough time in terms of what we're seeing with inflation. So we're going to have to see a lot of businesses, boil down to the fundamentals. And I think it's really going to come down to, strong operations, great locations, and having a strong team. And for the most part, hopefully, Massachusetts continues to remain strong. But I think we're definitely going to see a lot of consolidation and a lot of more of cannabis being more of I want to say not newsworthy, but it's going to be part of our everyday lives as it should be, and less of the kind of the headlines that it's been over the last 3-4 years.
Right. Well, that's all very interesting. And it's funny how time flies when we're doing these interviews. Completely Cannabis show sponsored by Valiant. And if somebody's looking for you and your outlets, how would they find you?
Well, newdia.co is, you can find us on Instagram and Facebook. Obviously, if you ever go into a Red Sox game, all you got to do is turn on Lansdowne and you'll see a big sign there soon. Right now, you'll see the beautiful Valiant sign, but, it'll be smack down right down Lansdowne Street. So definitely check us out if you ever go into a concert or a Red Sox game. And then also social media and our website, www.newdia.co.
Too bad it wasn't there for the hockey game.
I know.
That was quite I like watching those outdoor hockey games. And Chris, if somebody's looking for Valiant, how would they find Valiant? Because you've got your finger on everybody.
Same website, www.valiant-america.com, or you can always call my cell phone as direct resource, 617-462-7895. Call me anytime.
And I don't want to underestimate Valiant for our listeners. They are the creator of the Completely Cannabis Show, and they're the one that keeps streaming all this new information on cannabis and continue to do that for this whole year coming up. So we want to thank Valiant for that very valuable information. Remind everybody, this is Radio Entrepreneurs. My name is Jeffrey Davis, and we'll be back with more stories.